Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we're unlocking what I genuinely consider the ultimate cold cases of the ancient world. For centuries, the final chapters of Egypt's most legendary queens, Nefertiti and Cleopatra, have been entirely hidden from us. But as we're about to see, cutting-edge forensics, next-gen DNA sequencing, and just absolutely relentless archaeology are finally rewriting the histories of these missing queens.
Okay, let's dive right into this. How is it even possible that two women who essentially ruled the known world just vanish from the historical record? I mean, their bodies were hidden by time, swallowed up by sand, and deliberately obscured by some seriously deadly politics. So today, we're going to follow the clues they left behind.
Section 1. Two Queens, Two Enduring Mysteries. Section 2. Masters of Power and Identity. Now, what's really interesting about comparing these two is that even though their reigns were separated by roughly 1,300 years, both of these women were exceptionally clever at surviving incredibly volatile political landscapes. Take Cleopatra. Despite actually being from a Greek dynasty, she completely immersed herself in Egyptian language and customs to win over her people. Contrast that with Nefertiti. Recent theories suggest she survived her husband's death by straight up adopting male titles, essentially secretly ruling under the male identity of Pharaoh Smenkhare. You know, pop culture loves to reduce Cleopatra to this tragic romantic figure, but honestly, that completely misses the mark. She was a brilliant, cutthroat strategist. She mastered 9 different languages that made her basically a one-woman translation department and a master diplomat. She carefully forged these strategic alliances with Rome's absolute heaviest hitters, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, just to protect her kingdom. And from her capital in Alexandria, she successfully blended Greek and Egyptian traditions, creating a super prosperous society. But, as you can guess, power like that always paints a giant target on your back. Section 3. Violent Ends and Tragic Fates. So for Cleopatra, the end comes crashing down in 30 BC. Octavian, who, by the way, would very soon become the first Roman emperor, completely defeated Mark Antony and Cleopatra's combined naval fleets. With Octavian's forces closing in fast, and knowing he was absolutely determined to parade her through Rome in chains, Cleopatra chose her own grim exit. It's widely believed to be a fatal cobra bite. And Octavian didn't stop there either. He ordered the execution of her young son and heir Caesarion, permanently, and I mean permanently, ending the era of the pharaohs. Now, if we shift our focus 1,300 years back to Nefertiti's era, the forensic evidence is honestly just as grim. When scientists examine these mysterious royal mummies from her period, specifically the ones known as KV-21b and the Younger Lady, they found horrifying trauma. We are talking shattered jaws, massive facial trauma, completely crushed rib cages, and arms forced into unnatural, literally broken positions. These violent, blunt force injuries absolutely scream of deliberate murder and political assassination. It's definitely not just natural decay. And what makes this violence even more tragic is the genetic reality of these royals. Recent DNA testing revealed what's called the Amarna bloodline vulnerability. Basically, this points to genetic traits linked to generations of close family intermarriage. The result? Highly fragile bones and significantly reduced physical resilience. So, for queens with these genetic weaknesses, the severe blunt force trauma found on these mummies would have been instantly, violently devastating, just a brutal end.
Section 4. The Hunt for Lost Tombs.
Because of these violent downfalls, both queens' resting places were completely hidden away. So, the crucial point we need to fast forward to today is this number, 25. That is the depth, in feet, of a terrifying, hand-carved shaft at the Tapiceris Magna Temple complex just outside Alexandria. Archaeologist Dr. Kathleen Martinez and her team are out there braving this incredibly dangerous, ancient tunnel system because they truly believe it leads directly to Cleopatra's hidden tomb. And it's no joke, one slip on a ladder down a 25-foot drop like that could be fatal. And hey, if the fall doesn't get you, the environment itself just might. While exploring a tunnel hidden behind ancient rubble in this complex, Dr. Martinez reported, quote, "I can't breathe. The air is toxic." That visceral reality right there, that injects immediate, intense, on-the-ground stakes into this perilous hunt. They are literally pushing the absolute limits of human endurance to finally locate this erased queen. And this brilliantly illustrates why they are taking these massive risks. The clues unearthing at Tapiceris Magna are chilling. They found skeletons buried with 22-carat golden tongues, placed there so the dead could supposedly speak to the gods. They discovered a highly preserved yet mysteriously severed mummy, completely missing its legs, which suggests some brutal punishment right at the end of the Ptolemaic era. And crucially, they've uncovered coins bearing Cleopatra's exact likeness. The whole shebang proves this site was heavily active and potentially a spot for secret elite burials, right during Cleopatra's final chaotic days.
Section 5. DNA, Scans, and Golden Tongues. Okay, so cutting-edge 21st century science is finally cracking open these ancient mysteries. I mean, walk through this rapid acceleration in technology with me for a second regarding the Amarna mummies. The KV-21 tomb, discovered way back in 1817, and the mummies inside literally sat nameless for centuries. But jump to 2010, and DNA tests proved the battered younger lady was actually Tutankhamun's mother. Then in 2015, we start physically scanning Tut's tomb for hidden rooms. And by 2022, next-gen DNA sequencing officially links that battered, headless mummy, KV-21b, directly to Tutankhamun's maternal bloodline. This has led so many experts to suspect we might have finally found the physical remains of Nefertiti or her daughters.
But wait, what if she actually isn't KV-21b? What if she's been hiding right in front of us the entire time? This brings us to Dr. Nicholas Reeve's explosive theory. He noticed that Tutankhamun's tomb is unusually small for a pharaoh and, quite frankly, looks like it was hastily repurposed. His theory, Tutankhamun's burial chamber was originally built for Nefertiti, and he thinks she is still in there, sealed perfectly intact behind false plastered walls just inches from where King Tut was laid to rest. Naturally, the scientific community immediately put this to the test, and the results were intensely polarizing. In 2015, ground-penetrating radar detected what looked to be hidden voids and organic material right behind those walls. But then, in 2018, a different team using advanced Italian radar concluded, actually, scratch that, those anomalies were merely natural variations in the limestone bedrock. The debate is still raging today, for sure, but we really have to remember, the ancient Egyptians were absolute masters of deception. False doors, hidden passages, they designed these tombs specifically to foil robbers for eternity.
Section 6. Will the sand yield secrets? As we step back and look at the whole picture, what does this all really mean? Well, it's an old saying, but it holds absolutely true here. History is written and violently erased by the victors. The very moment Octavian took power, he systematically wiped out Cleopatra's dynasty. He turned her prosperous empire into just another province of Rome and rendered her tomb completely lost. Similarly, after the religious revolution of Nefertiti and Akhenaten failed, later rulers painstakingly chiseled Nefertiti and her daughters out of the historical record. They destroyed monuments, struck their names from stone, they tried to make these women disappear forever.
Which leaves us with this final, thrilling question. Will modern science finally outsmart the ancient victors who tried to erase them? With every single swipe of a ground-penetrating radar and every sequenced strand of ancient DNA, we are actively peeling back thousands of years of deliberate deception. Whether they're hidden down a toxic 25-foot shaft in Alexandria or resting quietly behind a plaster wall in the Valley of the Kings, technology is finally giving these lost queens their final voice. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning history.